Today's message is about railers. You'll find the word railer in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 11. Paul writes, "But now I have written unto you not to keep company, if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such an one know not to eat." What is a railer? Webster's 1913 dictionary defines railer as follows: one who rails, one who scoffs, insults, censures, or reproaches with opprobrious language. Opprobrious language is insulting, derogatory, arrogant, and condescending language. So Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 11, don't have anything to do with such a person. Now it's also interesting to note that Paul frames the railer in the same context as fornicators, the covetous, the idolaters, drunkards, and extortioners. He puts the railer right in with them and says, don't have anything to do with any people like that, even those called brethren. The reason I'm bringing this forward is I have noticed, after making nearly 200 videos, that YouTube is a platform for railers, people who call themselves brother but rail. It's easy to hide behind the digital format, and that's what they do. And so many of my listeners have encountered railers. They are people who, when they don't agree with you, they call you an idiot, a moron, stupid, uneducated, a heretic, and the list goes on. You know what I'm talking about. I've heard plenty of it myself. I was even in a church where the pastor communicated like that. So it's a problem that we find apparently throughout the Christian church, but particularly on YouTube. And we as Christians must check our communications. We must monitor and govern how we communicate with other people, even those who are not called brothers, but particularly those that call themselves brothers and sisters in Christ. And so when somebody comes at you on YouTube, railing, insulting you, taking that high and mighty superior position, insulting you, calling you names, you mustn't return in kind. I know all of us have fallen victim to that at one time or another, but we must remind ourselves that when we return railing for railing, we share in the railer's sin. So we don't want to do that. The railer must be put out from your presence. And when that comes to the YouTube format, when somebody rails, ignore them, block them, get rid of them, don't communicate with them. Because Paul's very clear, they're the same class of so-called brothers as fornicators, greedy people, idolaters, drunkards, and extortioners. Have no fellowship with railers. Put them out from amongst yourselves, lest ye be partakers of their sin. Thank you for listening.